All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the first ever podcast of the Grub Club. My name is Barry. I also have two special guests with me if they want to introduce themselves.
Hey y'all, my name is Trey.
Hey, I'm Michaela.
Y'all want to shout out y'all social media?
If y'all want, y'all can follow me on Instagram. It's Spud So Blessed, SPUD So Blessed. All one word, no punctuation.
If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's K is back. Kaay is back. Just one word.
All right, so today's topic is pretty, but I think a lot of people can relate to it. So today's topic is pick me energy. So I'm gonna actually give a definition because I feel like a lot of people don't know what pick me energy is. So basically, pick me energy is actually, let me pull it up on Urban Dictionary.
Got the sources.
Girl.
I love it.
On deck.
Like I have the examples, but I don't have like the straightforward definition. Okay, I got Urban Dictionary. You know Urban Dictionary don't miss. So, a pick-me, and I quote, is a woman that is willing to do anything for a male approval. She will embarrass or throw other women under the bus to achieve this goal. The unfortunate thing about a pick-me is usually the men they are trying to seek approval from are poor quality and treat women badly, leaving the real benefit of the pick-me for me. And here's an example. If a man cheats on you, it's probably because it's your fault. Be feminine, make him food, just take care of him.
Like,
Girl.
You're being speak.
child,
Speak when spoken to.
right?
So how do we see pick-me energy in today's society?
I mean, and I feel like it's not just women. It can definitely go both ways.
It's
like
gender
you have,
neutral, yeah.
Yeah, like it's very, very, very much so applicable to both sides. You have men that throw each other under the bus all the time just to get an ounce of attention from a woman, like just a blink, not even some real like affection or anything like that. I really feel like it just comes from more so a lack of self-confidence and lack of self-value. It's like you're finding value in just anything. Like you're trying to find something to just validate yourself. And in order to do that, you're putting down others just to make yourself look somewhat more appealing in the, eye of society or whatever.
I think the worst part about it is that it doesn't even make you look appealing because pick me energy is so known in society today that like people notice it and they're like, oh, I don't like that. Like, I don't want to be around that person. It kind of just like isolates you. And it's like the people you're trying to go after, they notice it and they're like, you're doing a bit too much. You're not, like, just, it's a negative energy, period. Like, just completely.
Yeah, no, I agree for facts.
Because when I think of pick-me energy, because I found this article not too long ago written by Scarlett Lloyd Dickinson. She gives you like the three like main topics of pick-me energy. And usually when we think of pick-me energy, we always think of a woman trying to be, it's equivalent to like being the nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So she basically bullet pointed in three ways. For one, you have the enabling male entitlement to the perfect woman. So we all know what the perfect woman is, right?
Silent.
Doesn't talk back. Right. She cleans the house.
She's very submissive.
Like she'll iron the clothes, no wrinkles or anything. Like she's very obedient.
Like very much so 1950s.
Yeah.
Like very much so.
Like polka dots and everything.
Right.
Oh yeah. Don't forget
poodles
the
and everything.
Yes.
Then you have number two, they shame other women for living a life for themselves.
That's a big one. Especially with OnlyFans out today.
No, for real.
Like, it really is. Like, they shame women. Like, it's always take back your power until, like, someone comes in and they're like, you shouldn't be seeking approval like that. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing that. Like, no, you're going to take your power back as a woman, as a man, take your sexuality back. Like, do you. But then you get shamed for it because somebody else isn't confident enough to do that, which I don't understand. Like, I'm not confident enough to do it, but get your bag. Do you. Have your fun.
Honestly. Nah, I agree. I agree with that. I think it's more so like in society you have such quote unquote norms that
Mm-hmm.
people expect you to just uphold. And when they see like, it's oh, take your power back within these certain limitations though.
Yeah.
So, everything is cool as long as you stay within this boundary and you don't like, overstep or try to seek too much because then it's like, you know, you're doing too much, quote unquote, or like that's not normal. Like, so you shouldn't want that. And it's like, as a woman, I should be able to, and as men, period, like, I should be able to express myself freely, whether sexually, mentally, emotionally, financially, whatever I want to do, I should be able to do it without being scrutinized for it. And I feel like really it's just that push of just being like you have to be this way, like, and in all actuality it's not as black and gray or black and white as people make it seem. Life is really just a big gray area where you
Yeah.
kind of can pick and choose what works for you, what makes you feel good. It's not always like yes or no. Sometimes it is a maybe, like, you know what I mean. So just that middle ground is kind of like what people have a hard time understanding. Like, you can say yes and no within the same sentence. Like, yes, I agree to doing this. No, I don't agree to doing that. Like, this is my limitation where it comes, like, where my limitations come within that certain topic.
Especially if you're not hurting anybody.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
society is so, I guess, nosy as a whole. If it makes sense, society is a nosy thing. Everybody's always, well, you put it here. That doesn't mean it was for everybody. It doesn't mean that it's for your opinion. I stated my opinion. Didn't ask for yours. If you give it, that's fine. But it's like people get upset when you don't go off of what their opinion is. Society's not based on fact. It's based on my opinion's this, your opinion is this, you do this, I do this. I don't like that. I do like that. It doesn't matter. Everybody likes and dislikes everything. But if you're not hurting anybody at the end of the day, that's your business. But with all this pick me energy around, everybody wants to be like, well, this is what society says. But then in the same breath will be like, well, I don't agree with society, but like, just side eyeing you for being you and being your own person, which I don't understand.
Yeah, totally. Because I'm reading through her thing, and I found this one line that's actually really interesting. Because I feel like this is also gender neutral. And I quote, "We are told that boys want a good girl, that if we sit quietly, follow the rules, flash a smile, and look pretty all the time, we will get our Prince Charming." And I immediately thought of Cinderella because she kind of did that, but at the same time, she went through hell and back
Mm-hmm.
within what, probably a day or two?
Yeah.
Really, really a day or two. And it's like, she's pretty, but she's viewed as kind of less than. But then, just like that, like she's like top tier. So I kind of feel like it's true and then not true because I feel like you can attract anything that kind of just walks by at the same time. I mean, you could like giggle and like someone be like, "Oh, you have a nice laugh,"
Yeah.
So it's like it's just corny to me. Like, And then also, she says it suggests that a girl's behavior is what gets her a man, not her mind, her intelligence, her humor, but simply her ability to follow the rules. So going back to Cinderella, she's been, I've been kind of coached ever since her father passed, her stepmother moved in. So she's following the rules laid out by an older woman. But well, now that I think about it, it does make sense because she followed the rules. She hit her rock bottom. Then the fairy godmother gave her highest moment. And now happily ever after. But I know in society that's not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Because
But it
you can
did
still hit
almost
your
get
rock.
ruined.
She went through it.
Yeah.
But I just think it's not realistic how, like, I could sit here and be quiet. That doesn't mean I'm going to attract somebody,
Right.
I mean, she barely said, 10 lines throughout the movie because she was singing the whole time.
Girl.
But,
Child.
there was, I
Don't
don't
even
remember
start on
any
that.
talking scenes. But,
Honestly, I think she was a little bit of like doing her own thing. Because if you think about it, she had her pick me energy. She was, I'm doing what I'm told, I'm doing this, this, and this. And in that, she was doing what society, her stepmother, was telling her to do. only when she started to, no, I want to go, I want to get my man, I want to go here, I want to be seen. She started to break those rules. And that's when it started to work out for her. Then she's like, oh, I'm breaking the rules, I gotta go. That's when it almost got ruined. All this stuff starts happening. She loses her shoe. She almost loses a man. Like, everything goes wrong when she tries to get back in that box. But when she breaks out of the box, then things start to look up for her.
So do you, to piggyback off of what you said, because this is such a good example, do you think like pick me energy drives off of jealousy?
Yeah.
Or like
Yes.
insecurity?
110%.
Yes.
Okay, because I'm thinking of the stepsisters. And remember when she came down in that pink dress by her mom that passed? And they immediately like ran to her and just tore it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can clearly tell, the stepsisters weren't that good looking. But, Cinderella is very,
Beautiful.
upscale, even if she had rags on. So I'm thinking of that like, could you have been jealous the entire time because of the way I personally look? Rather than, you look in the mirror and you see something totally different.
They are the perfect example.
The perfect
of pick-me
example.
energy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
They literally did anything for a man.
even tried to fit that big old foot in that itty bitty slipper, child. Like,
Exactly.
anything just to.
Just for a man that still didn't give them nothing.
Exactly.
Right?
But then it's like, if you think about, like the more gruesome version, they went
The
even
actual
further.
story.
Yeah,
The
like
actual
the
story.
Yeah, I
actual,
can't remember the
I can't
name.
remember the
who-
Arthur
yeah,
either.
but like the actual, like, this is what really happened. They like cut their
Then they cut their toes off to fit in. Yeah.
And it still wasn't enough. So it's like, at the end of the day, what did you do all that for?
Right.
He had the woman he wanted, not because of her shoe. That was just how he was going to find her. It was what he saw. Her being her is what he wanted. I don't even know if she talked or not, but that's the gist of it. It's supposed to be her. But y'all are doing all this, and now you're out some toes.
Can barely walk
You
now.
Right.
barely walk.
Walking with a limp,
Struggling.
child. Probably got an infection. Like,
Everything's going wrong for you.
Like, everything. Life's
All over
downhill.
some pick-me energy.
Very much so. Like you said, like, it is derived heavily on, like, jealousy, because I think it's one of those things, like I mentioned earlier, it's just the lack of self-value. Like, if you don't know yourself, then of course you're going to hate on other people who do know themselves. And it's like, okay, well, that's where people say, like, I wish I had your confidence. Like,
I hear that all the time.
like,
Yeah.
and for some people, it's just a natural thing. It's just how they carry themselves. Like, I'm not a really confident person, but on Instagram or anything like that, people are always like, I love your energy. It's so, like, it's so genuine. You're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And it's like, I'm humble, and it's just like, I'm just being myself. You know what I mean? And through that process of me just finding myself, like, and becoming my most genuine self, I've attracted certain people that, other people might, they breaking their back to try to get this person. And it's just like me. I'm just like, oh, I'm chilling. Like, you know what I mean? So it can be like a jealousy thing, or just like how people, I walk in the room, everybody wants to, like, everybody wants to chill. Like, like I said, I'm a cool person. And it's like, Kayla is too. Like, we attract certain people, and we're just chilling, just being ourselves. And, like, people see that and they're attracted to us. Not necessarily men, like other women will see that. Other women who are sure of themselves will see that. And they're like, okay, they're a confident girl. I'm a confident girl. Let's be two confident girls together, right? Some women will see that and be jealous of that. Some men will see that and be like, oh, she's just
too full of herself.
Yeah, she's full of herself. And it's like, I'm not full of myself. I'm comfortable in my skin. And if that makes you uncomfortable, then that's something that you have to take up with yourself, beloved. Like, that has nothing to do with me. So it's just like, some people take the way in which you carry yourself naturally without, like, thought. They take that and they find reasons to pick at it and try to make you feel guilty for that, as if you carrying yourself is, like, in that manner is wrong. Like, no, like, hey, like, I enjoy doing this. Like, this is just what I am. Like, if you don't like it, sorry for you. Like, tough. like, this isn't the 1950s. Like, I don't have to sit back and be quiet. Like, I don't have to bend to your rules and just do this, just because, like, you have to marry a good man with a good job, and, like, I am a good man with a good job. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, who, I can't remember who said it.
Okay, you're preaching for real now.
Like, it was
a good man.
who was it? I can't remember who it was, but it was like some celebrity. I can't remember. they were like, oh, why aren't you married? Why don't you have a boyfriend? Like, you should be, doing this, doing that. And it's like, you should marry like a rich man. And she's like, I am the rich man. Like, what do you mean? Like, I take care of myself. I do for myself. I don't need someone to validate me. And I think that's where a lot of that pick me energy comes from. Like, you're lost and you need someone to be that rock for you because you can't do that for yourself. So, yeah, no, like that's just what it is. Like, you need that type of balance. You need something, honey.
Anything.
Something to give you what it's supposed to give. Like, something.
It's not right now.
Like, whether that be mentally, financially, emotionally, like somewhere you're lacking. And for those who aren't lacking like you, it's like, well, why aren't they doing this? Like, we're the same age. We're both women. We're both living in today's world. Like, why do they get to move so freely and I have to move this way? And it's like, well, sis, you can move just like me. Just do better. Literally, take notes. Like, if you, like, for a lot of people, they see certain things and they immediately become envious of it. And for me, I've always asked, like, if I see somebody doing something that I want to do, I'm going to ask questions. What did you do to get where you are? I ask people all the time, even like ex-boyfriends or people that I used to mess with, like, what happened in our relationship? Like, to where it didn't work. I'm big on communication. I'm big on just being open and things like that. So it's like, when you are scared to have those open conversations and be really genuine with yourself, you're never going to feel complete. You're never going to feel like you're your genuine self. Like, that's where that facade comes up, because you feel like, oh, well, I don't know how I feel, so I got to feel like this. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense, Kayla?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, to piggyback off that, honestly, the place I see the biggest pick me energy are social media influencers.
Oh, my God, yes.
And they are so beloved and, like, just they're it. They're what you want to be, but then it's like they have this thing where they're negative people. It's always something coming out about, oh, well, they said this to me, they did this to me, they this, and this. All these negative things that they've said and done, and the way they behave towards people, it's like coming from a place of, well, I'm loved because of how I look, and I'm loved because of, like, validation from everybody around me, but they never have any self-validation. It's always not there. They can't do it themselves. They get it elsewhere. So when they feel like it's being taken, then it's, why do you think you're better than me? Or they want to bring down whoever it is and just make them feel less than, not important, anything like that. And it's like, it's crazy to me because y'all are society standards, but then that points at what's wrong with society. Because y'all are the standard right now. Y'all are what's beautiful. Y'all are what's great. Y'all are what's perfect. Got all these hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, but you're still not happy, and you're still hating on the girl with 200 because she's got her love and she's got that actual affection. Like, she's got that actual, like, self-validation that you need. You can't survive without self-validation. I've had grown women, like, old enough to be my mother, hating on me because I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. And I'm in a better place just generally than they are. And it's like, well, why is that happening for you? Because I'm doing me. I'm living for me. I'm doing what I need to do to become who I need to become. You're over here 40-some years old with pick-me energy.
Right.
You've had twice the life I've had, and you still haven't found yourself? That's not good. That's not good. And it's not something just with young people in society. It's older people more than anything. And I feel like that comes from, right now, our society still isn't great, but it's freer than when the older generation was here and when they were our age. It's more free. It's more express yourself. Do what you want. It's not as bad. But back then, it's, oh, you have an opinion? I don't want to hear that. Who
It's very much taboo to speak on certain things.
It's taboo to be your own human being. It's taboo to do what you want and not what's told for you to do. And that's like, I don't know, it's a problem. It's a big, big problem that, like, we need to eliminate as a whole. If people would self-validate and find themselves and become their own person, pick-me energy would disappear tenfold. And we would never have to deal with it again, but it's so much negativity, jealousy, and just self-hate that's projected. Pick me energy is literally projection of self-hate. Like, just 100%. It's bad. It's really bad, and it's getting worse the more free we become.
The more you become, like you said, even with the girls with like OnlyFans and things like that, like they're so just built different. They're cut from a different cloth.
Comfortable.
They're so
That's
comfortable. They're very in your face with their like with their comfort within themselves, and I think that's what bothers people. Like you see people that's just living their life, and they just like you have the society telling you like, oh, you need to be like this, and they like, oh, okay, cool, that's her. Anyways, like, you know what I mean? And they still move about how they want, and even and for some people that motivates them to continue to be even bigger of themselves, like an even bigger version of themselves. Like, okay, you're gonna tell me how to live, cool, I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. Like, I'm gonna continue to live the way I'm gonna live, and you're just gonna have to cross a bridge and get over it. Like 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 build a bridge and get over it. Like, that's that's a you problem. And like you said, it is like something traditionally, like you have gender norms. Men are supposed to be like this. Women are supposed to be like that. And this generation, we're the generation that's more open. Like I said, everything isn't as black and white. It is a gray area in which you can pick and decide on how you identify yourself, what you want to be, who you want to be. Women are offered more job opportunities. Women are like, the pay gap is still there, but we're trying to work hard to close that pay gap, because it's essentially like, I am of value. I do bring things to the table other than just being a mom and being a housewife. Like, that's not all. Like, you know what I mean? And for those that choose to be that, like, that's your true self. That's who you are. You know what I mean? That's what makes you a good housewife. That's what makes you a good mom, because that's who you genuinely are supposed to be. For others, that lifestyle just isn't conducive. And for some people, they base your womanhood on whether or not you want to get married or whether or not you want to have kids, and like, it's like if you cook or if you clean, and it's like, some people don't want to have kids. Some people don't want to be married. Like me, I'm not really the marriage type. Like, never seen myself getting married, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? And when I tell people like, I'm okay with not getting married, I get a lot of like women that are like, poking. It's like, why? What's wrong with you? Do you think that you're too good to get married? Do you think that this? And it's like, no, I'm just comfortable. Like, I'm chilling. I'm comfortable being myself. If I've come across somebody that can change my mind, then hey. But as of right now, at the age of 24, like, I'm big good on that. Like, I'm fine just living and enjoying myself. I enjoy my solitude.
You know what that makes me think of? I know that couple that's trending right now on TikTok.
I don't have TikTok.
It's a very feminine man and a very masculine woman. He would be seen as flamboyantly gay, and she would be seen as a masculine woman. And they are dating each other. And people are like, what's going on here? They're happy. They are thriving. Their relationship seems good. You can't tell too much from social media, but from what they post, they are living their best life in the best form. And it's like, I see them, and, I'm confused because it's a natural reaction. It's not what society has taught us is okay. But I'm just like, I love to see it, because I don't know what's going on here, but I don't know what this is. I love it. And it's like, they are themselves, and they get to be their true self. He's clearly a straight man, and she's clearly a straight woman, but they have just swapped them roles. She holds him in the pictures, as to what we're seeing. The man usually holds the woman and picks up the woman. She picks him up. And it's like, they are living their best life, and I just see people hating on them. Like, what is this? And blah, blah, blah. I saw someone who was like, they just found a way to be gay and still go to heaven. First of all,
like, what does that even mean?
What does that have to do with anything? They're not gay, obviously. They're in a happy relationship. There's a man and there's a woman. They are together and they are minding their business. And that has just simply them posting a picture of themselves on the internet blew it up. because society is so confused about what's going on with them, and they're keeping tabs. Like, when I open TikTok, I at least see them a few times or somebody talking about them, and it's just like, why are y'all bothered? I don't even follow this account. If I see their pet stuff, I like it because goals. Y'all are cute, y'all are doing your thing, but society is just wig snatched, like lost. And I'm just like, mind your business. But it's that pick me energy. This is not normal. This is not normal. You people are wrong. But what are they doing? Y'all say being gay is wrong. But here they are. It's a man and a woman in a relationship. So what's the problem? Because it's not what's normal, so to speak. That is where the problem comes in. I adore that couple because I want to live in my truth like that. I'm my own person, but society does still affect me. I'm mature enough to say that. I am not there yet to where I'm just 110% like, did I ask? Do I care? Most of the time, yeah, but there's still some stuff that hits me and I'm just like, all right, brush it off. You had your moment of upset, brush it off. But it's just like, it comes from a lack of maturity. I am a very mature person, but I still have my moments. I am still a 20-year-old woman.
Right.
Regardless. Like, I don't have all that. I have more than most, but I don't have all that self actualization and self-realization about 100% who I am, because I'm still figuring it out. I'm still growing into that person.
Yeah, that's what your 20s are for,
exactly.
To be honest. Like,
but it's like, you don't have to be negative to do that. You can still be your own person and, do your own thing and still be growing. But I feel like a lot of people don't realize that they feel like they have to be what men want, or men feel like they have to be a certain way to be what women want. I've had exes who are just like, I don't do these things because it's not okay for men. And I'm just like, who told you that?
Like, who said that?
Who told you that? So then it's like a lot of the relationship is taking me trying to undo that. Why do you feel like you can't cry? Why do you feel like you can't voice your opinions? Men don't do that.
So just to not to cut you off, but since you said that, it is taught, especially in the Black household.
Yeah.
It's taught in the Black household for boys, at least, for us not to cry. And if we do cry, we have to go in our bedroom, make sure no one sees us being weak. Because if you cry, you're at your most vulnerable, X, Y, Z. But,
I feel like it's a show of strength for me. I don't even know how to word this without it sounding weird.
Yeah.
But, like, I enjoy when men cry. Like, I don't find it good, but I enjoy the fact that they are expressing themselves.
Yeah, sharing that moment with you.
They don't have to. I don't like when it's held in, because then it turns into an explosion instead of, just letting a little bit out at a time. I'm upset about this today. And if you cry about it, you cry about it. You're gonna have your moment. We're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna move on. You don't have to be Mr. Macho, big and bad all the time. You don't have to be that, period. Just be who you want to be. If you're upset, say that. Be that. Appreciate that, and live in your moment so that this toxic mentality that men have can dissipate. You don't have to deal with it. We don't have to, I can't express my feelings. I don't do that mushy stuff. Or, what is it? Simp. I love me a simp. I love
I've heard
me a
of it,
simp.
but I
It's
could
like
never understand it.
a man who loves his woman. That's the best way to explain. That dude Kevin Samuels, I think that's his name. He's like the worst display of toxic pick-me man energy. Men have to do this, women have to do this, or y'all aren't good people.
Oh, so I'm gonna give you an example and tell me if this is pick-me energy for a man. Say if we go out to like Longhorn, for example, and the bill comes out to be like, well, Longhorn's pretty expensive, like $60, right? If our waiter or waitress places the check down and I reach for it first and then says that I have to pay for everything, like you don't have to include a tip or anything, like, or even leave money behind, is that pick-me energy? Or is that just what a man should do? Like let me give a better example.
So you're saying like
if we repeatedly going on
dates,
supposed to, like every single time, like you don't pay for anything.
Men like to. Honestly, I've seen it done in a non-toxic form. I've dealt with men who just don't want me to. And it's not even like a causes an argument, just display of anything. It's like you're taking care of me emotionally, and that's what I require. And I hope this is what you require. I'm going to do this. I've been out with men who just don't even bring your wallet, which is okay for me, but just know that I can do it myself as well. Accept that and acknowledge that. Pick me energy for a man is you go make me a sandwich because I'm the man. Or don't talk to me like that because I'm the man. I take care of you financially. I do this, this, and this. The best display is abusive men. They're the worst type of pick-me energy, and the women are as well. Abusive relationships are just full of pick-me energy. The woman wants to be the submissive, do whatever she can to please this horrible man. And this horrible man is mad at the woman because even if she so much as, I wanted to wear pink today, but he wanted me to wear blue. So now she's hit because he wanted blue and she wanted pink. She's doing whatever she can to please. He's doing whatever he can to get pleased. And it's not, nobody's doing their own thing. It's feeding off of, I want this and you give me this.
Selfishness.
Yeah, it's selfish. So where it's like, the woman's lost. She doesn't know. He takes care of her. He makes sure that she's financially stuck. He makes sure that she's the perfect little 1950s housewife with her polka dot dress on. And he treats her as such. He treats her as subhuman. And she accepts that because she has no self-love.
This is a good topic. To piggyback off exactly what you said, I found another article basically summing up exactly what you just said. I don't know who it's by, but it just literally popped up on Google. And it gives like 15 like traits of a pick-me woman. And this one stood out to me. Like I said, it summed up exactly what you said. The title is Pick-me's Have Lower Standards for a Mate. They will accept anything and everything as long as a man is attached. No car, no job, that's okay. She'll take care of a man. Lying, cheating, stealing from her, totally acceptable as long as she still has a man as her partner. Instead of the awful idea of her possibly being alone, a pick-me girl would rather lose all of her self-respect and not care about how other men treat her either. If it means possibly getting a husband later down the road, she'll deal with it. Better late than never, right?
It's taught.
Yeah.
It is 100% taught. Pick-me energy is taught. I have always been taught. My mother, my whole life, she's been a single woman because she's abrasive. That's the best way to explain her. She's abrasive, and she is, I want what I want, and if you cannot give me that, you can go because I know what I am, and I know who I am, and I know what I bring. Men don't like that.
And don't.
They want that submissive woman, and I'm just like, not my mom. No, that's not happening.
For a lot of men, they view that as masculine. Because my mom, to an extent, is the same way, and I'm, to an extent, as I've gotten older, I've become that same thing. And like I've literally had men tell me like, oh, you're not feminine enough. And it's like, what does that define femininity? Like, define femininity. Like, what exactly defines like me as a woman? Like, you want someone, like going back to the example that you gave, being at Longhorns, like a man is taught to take care, but if a woman makes enough money, like I can like take care of you. You know what I mean? And for some men, they're not attracted to that
or they'll take it as a threat.
Yes,
almost.
They look at it as a threat because it's like you have this woman.
It's like I should provide.
I should be the one. Exactly. And I think that's where, in that situation, that's where that pick me energy will come from. It's more so of a lack of appreciation for just having a woman that can. Having a woman to do, like, you know what I mean? You don't appreciate her. And that's how I take it. Like, being the person that I am, being quote unquote abrasive, like, it's like, I know exactly what I want. I just told somebody the other day, I was like, you're not my man type of material because you can't appreciate my mind. You can't appreciate what I'm telling you. Like, what I'm telling you, that's too much. And I'm asking for the bare minimum, like the bare minimum. And because that's what, that's not normal and I wasn't raised that way or whatever, like now it's like, oh, she's doing too much. Her standards are too high. And it's like, my standards aren't too high. I just know what I bring to the table. And I demand that respect. I literally demand that respect. Because it's, yeah, or you can go. Because it's like, I have that respect for myself. And so, like you said, like piggybacking off of like what you read in the article, like that pick me energy is derived from women who just don't have that for themselves. They willing to do whatever. Like, I'm talking whatever to get ahead. Just to, like, and they just lose themselves. And it's like, for some, they do that for financial stability. For some, it's because they come from a broken home, and that's that toxic love, that toxic, like, that's what they're used to. You know what I mean? So it's a mindset that they haven't quite broken yet. It's something that they quite haven't wrapped their head around, in the sense of like, this isn't healthy. You know what I mean? Not normal. Not what's normal, because what's normal isn't always healthy. Like, what's normal doesn't always make sense. What's healthy for you? What gives you that sense of peace of mind? What gives you that appreciation, that love, that value? And it's actually genuine, not because of what can you do for me? Like, what can you do for yourself?
What can we do together?
Yeah, what can we do together? That's the whole point of a relationship. Everything is transactional. So if I can't do for myself, how can I do for you? I mean, I can do for myself and do for you at the same time. Like, for some people it's a learning experience, but it's like,
it's got to be reciprocal.
It has to be reciprocated. And
that makes me think of how they're like, the man always has to be more into the woman. And I don't understand that, because I want you to be equally as into me as I am into you, so that we can both be on the same level of how this is going, how we feel that it's going, and what's good, and what's healthy, and what's necessary. But that doesn't seem to be quite normal. But there was also a point, I noticed that in particularly abusive relationships, it takes for a woman to get pregnant and have a baby and bring a baby in to not recognize her own self-worth, but recognize the problem. Because she's like, well, this is happening to me, this hurts me, this upsets me, this makes me sad. And she has a physical little representation of self-worth in her hands that she has birthed. And she's like, well, you don't deserve this. You don't need this. I don't want you to deal with this. I don't want you to go through with this. So I'm going to leave. I think I still deserve this, but you don't. So I'm going to leave. So it's like it takes some women to literally have a little human being that's just as innocent as they are in the situation. But they, for some reason, have been, they can't accept that they're just as innocent as this baby. Oh, you didn't cut the crust off the sandwich, so you deserve to get hurt? Like, you deserve to be degraded? No. But they see this little baby who's just getting here, hasn't had any interactions with anybody, negative or positive, and they're like, you do not deserve this type of pain. Why do you? But it dissipates that pick-me energy a little bit, and it forces women sometimes to become more have more self-love.
More in tune with themselves.
Yeah, because it's like, I need to be my best self for you. I need you to see me and experience positivity and everything good and positive, and just, it changes. It, like I said, it comes with that maturity. When you have a child, you become more mature as a person, and it brings in that lack. It dissipates a little bit of the picky energy. You become more of a woman who's a mother. So I think it's always ties into a level of maturity or a level of love in yourself. And when people become mothers, I've noticed that they turn into different people, always.
Parenthood has a way of changing people in general. Yeah. Like, some people, it makes them go in the wrong direction. But some people, it makes them go in a right direction. Like, it kind of forces them, like you said, to choose better for themselves. Like, my grandmother growing up, like, my grandpa, at one point in his life, he was a drunk, abusive man. And he was beating the dog mess out of my granny. And it only took a couple seconds. Like, it only took a couple times for him to show those red flags. And, like, her mother used to be abused. So when she started to put them flags together, like, luckily she put them together rather quickly. She was like, oh, I have a child to care for. It's not just me. I'm not going to put my child literally in a life-threatening situations just for the sake of like me feeling some sort of love. Like you can get that unconditional love from your child, and I think that's what it is. It's the fact that now you have something that's bigger than yourself that gives you that unconditional love, that gives you that purpose, or gives you a reason to find that purpose. And that, just like you said, it pushes you to be a better person. For some people, if you're not confident in yourself and you're like, oh, I can't do this, I'm not ready, like, you know, that'll chase them away. But for some people, they take that as a challenge, like you said, to better yourself, to get yourself in a better position mentally, physically, financially. Like, you want to be healthy for your child. That way your child can grow. And I think that's what's different from us and like other generations, like older generations. Like, we don't stick around. Like our, you know, grandparents used to say all the time, like, well, you know, the divorce rate is getting higher nowadays. Y'all don't know how to stick it out. And it's like, stick it out for somebody that's abusing me, for someone that's cheating, just because, like, you know, that marriage was tied to financial, you know, some type of financial freedom, because you weren't allowed to, like, women weren't allowed to do certain things, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, as we've progressed as a country, and progressed just as people, like, women have now, we flipped the script, and it's like, okay, I can't remember what world war that was, but when you started getting women that were more involved in like the wars and things of that, I really feel like that's that switch. The second one. I think it was the second one, but that was that switch for women. Like, okay, men are gone, like our men are deployed.
I need to do something.
Wasn't that the where the icon Rosie the Riveter popped up? I don't know what era it was.
I can't remember which. Like, I'm not good at history, child. I want to say the Second World War I. All right, cool. Thank you. Like, I knew it was one of them World Wars, child. Like, you know, but it was like, you know, our men are gone. Our value is gone. Our value is overseas fighting. Like,
now I need some of my own.
I need to find some because I got kids at the crib. Like, you know, these babies got to eat. These babies need, you know, like, things got to happen. And that is kind of what flipped women that switch on. Like, okay, cool. Like, you know, this is typically a man's job. And here I am doing it just as good, if not better. So that was that switch for women, for, you know, in society rather, to show like we bring just as much to the table as men. Like, and for some, that was the breaking of generational curse, like, you know, generational curses. And that was the switch where it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be in this relationship. Maybe I should establish something for myself. Because it's just like, you know, like I said, when that person leaves, when that person, like, you know, is away, like, now that's your sense of value gone just that quickly.
Yeah.
Just to correct what was said earlier, it was World War II.
See, I knew it was World War II.
Oh my God.
Okay, see, I knew I was right. I knew I was right the first time, child. That's why I was like, I definitely remember history.
Let me help my girl out.
Because I still remember.
That's why I was like, I knew I had it right the first time, child. You know, I be a little smart.
Just
you know, KSU kind of doing their thing with me. You know, they did a little something.
They get me together.
I mean, at least we know something. That's all that matters.
Right? Exactly.
We're paying
That's something to do every day.
Right.
My history class taught me something.
Right. I appreciate History 101. 1101. You know, hey, I've learned a lot in that class.
But yeah, I would say this is a good topic, and hopefully the listeners kind of understand now, because
I hope this helps somebody.
I do too, because it's like this now, especially with the new generation coming up, and then we're getting older and we see it a lot more than they do. So
yeah, pick me energy is
pick me energy.
Right. Let's change that for the future, y'all.
Because it's got so many forms. We've talked about so many different topics that seemingly have nothing to do with each other, but it all makes
sense in the end.
Exactly.
In the connection of pick me energy, which is terrible. Because these are a lot of bad situations to be in.
And hopefully this gives you, you know, the listeners, hopefully this will give someone out there, like, this is a hard conversation for some people to talk about. Sometimes it's a hard self-realization type thing. Like, maybe this will give you insight for those that it may apply to. I hope that it gives you the insight that you need to take that step forward. Like, do not be afraid to do things on your own. Do not be afraid to fail. It is okay. Like, failure is literally another opportunity at success. That's how I view it. It's never anything bad. Life still goes on. And just have that appreciation for yourself. You're doing great, babes. Like, have some self-worth.
Remember, you're a human being.
Right? Remember, you are, in fact, a human being. You have feelings, you have emotions. Appreciate that about yourself.
And they are valid.
Very much so valid. Very much so valid.
And on that note, I think that's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed episode 1 of the Grub Club and hope to see you in episode 2.
Peace.
Peace, guys.